You will still be writing when the sky above Pompeii turns black. You will keep the stylus moving when the street fills with ash and the sound of running feet. Everyone you know will choose to run. You will not run. The last words you write will not survive. But the shape of your body will. You don't know that yet. Level 1. The Wax Tablet. You are 27 years old. Pompeii. August 24, 79 AD. The morning smells like bread and fish sauce and someone else's dog. You are already at your desk before the sun clears the roofline. This is what you do. This is what you have done every morning for 9 years. Sit at this narrow wooden table. Open the leather case. Press the bronze stylus into pale wax. And turn other people's lives into numbers. Today's work. 3 property contracts. 1 inheritance dispute. 14 lines of tax records for the grain merchant on Via dell'Abbondanza. You know his handwriting is worse than his breath and he will argue every figure. You will be correct anyway. He will pay anyway. Outside, Pompeii is already loud. The bakeries opened before dawn. The buildings above the street fill with children and arguments and the sound of someone always dropping something heavy. A dog is barking 3 streets over. It has been barking since before you woke up. You press the stylus into the wax. The surface takes the mark cleanly. There is something satisfying about a fresh tablet in the morning. Smooth, pale, holding nothing yet. You count your remaining tablets. 17. You will not need 17 tablets. Level 2. The trembling. The ground has been doing this for 4 days. A tremor barely worth naming. A shiver in the floor that travels up through your stool legs and into your spine. A cup on the table rocks twice and stops. The stylus skids across the wax and leaves a long diagonal scratch through a column of numbers. You curse under your breath. You smooth the surface back with your thumb. This is Pompeii. The ground shakes here. It has always shaken. 17 years ago, a real earthquake cracked the temple of Jupiter and split open the fountains on 3 streets. The city rebuilt. The city always rebuilds. A tremor this small means nothing. Down in the street, nobody looks up. A woman adjusts her basket. 2 men keep arguing. A cart horse stamps 1 hoof and goes back to standing still. You start the column of numbers again from the top. The dog 3 streets over has stopped barking. You notice this only because the silence where the barking was feels strange. Like a missing tooth that a tongue keeps checking. You notice it, then you stop noticing it. Then you go back to the numbers. You will think about that dog later. In the last minutes, you will think about it. Level 3. The column. Someone shouts in the street below. Not a market shout, not an argument. A different register entirely. The kind of sound a body makes when it understands something before the mind does. You set the stylus down and walk to the window. The mountain to the north has opened itself. A column of black and gray and burning orange is rising from the summit of Vesuvius. Straight up, impossibly fast, spreading as it climbs. Until the top flattens and spreads wide like a stone pine tree made of ash and smoke. It is already higher than you have ever seen anything rise. It is still rising. The street below you stops moving. 50 people, 60 people, standing with their faces tilted up and saying nothing. 1 child points. Nobody tells her to put her hand down. The column catches the sunlight at its edges and turns them dark bronze. At the base, something glows. You do not know the word for what is glowing. No one alive knows the word for it yet. Your mouth is dry. Your stylus is still in your hand. You realize you are gripping it hard enough that the metal edge is cutting into your palm. You stand at the window and watch the mountain pour the inside of itself into the sky. The wind is pushing the column southeast, directly toward you. You calculate this the way a scribe calculates everything. Quickly, quietly, without showing the answer on your face. Level 4. The ash. It begins like flour. Soft gray-white flakes drifting down from a sky that is no longer entirely blue. You hold your hand out the window and a piece of pumice lands on your palm. Light, almost weightless, porous as a dried sponge. Still warm. In the street below, people have begun tying cushions to their heads with strips of cloth. You watch them do this. It makes sense in the way that desperate things make sense. Cushions against a mountain. You watch them and say nothing. The ash thickens. What was white becomes gray. Then darker gray. The light through the window flattens. Dimmer. The color of a room with too many lamps and not enough air. Somewhere below, a woman is praying to Fortuna. Somewhere else, a man prays to Jupiter. The prayers overlap and tangle and become a single sound that means fear. Your neighbor pounds on the shared wall and shouts your name. He is leaving. His family is going to his cousin's farm east of the city. He says you should come now. He says do not wait. He says the word nuink. Now, stretching it into 2 syllables like a warning and a plea. You tell him you will follow in a few minutes. You sit back down. You pick up the stylus. You start exactly where you left off. Level 5. The running. The street has become a river. Not water. People. Hundreds pressing south toward the harbor gates. Toward anywhere that is not under the sky. Old men carrying children too big to carry. Women gripping each other's wrists with both hands. A man running with a small painted portrait tucked under his arm. Someone he could not leave behind even as a face on wood. A dog on a leash running alongside its owner. Then the leash going slack as the dog turns. The owner not stopping. The leash dragging in the ash. The ash is now heavy enough to make a sound. A soft constant hiss against the roof tiles. Against the stones of the street. Against the wood of your window frame. A sound like something being erased. You have finished the inheritance dispute. The figures are correct. The language is precise. You slide the tablet into its leather case and open a fresh one. The tax records for the grain merchant are not finished. This bothers you in the way that unfinished things have always bothered you. A physical sensation, low in the chest, like something pulling on a thread. The merchant will need these. Someone will need these. Cities run on records. Records are how the living account for themselves and for each other. Outside, a woman falls in the ash. 3 people step around her. One stops and pulls her upright. You keep writing. Level 6. The dark. Evening. Though evening is impossible to prove because the sky has already been black for an hour. The darkness did not come gradually. The way night does. It arrived the way a door closes. One moment light, the next a blackness that has weight to it. Torches and oil lamps have appeared in windows up and down the street. Small yellow wounds in the dark air. They make the darkness more visible, not less. The smell has changed. Earlier it was sulfur, sharp, like flint held to a flame. Now there is something older underneath it. Something that has not breathed air in 10,000 years. You cannot name it, you simply breathe less deeply. The hissing on the roof is no longer only hissing. Twice now, something larger has struck. A chunk of pumice the size of a man's fist, hitting the tiles with a crack. Sharper and more deliberate than the soft accumulation around it. Each time, the lamp flame leans sideways in air that should not be moving. You light a second lamp from the first. On the wall above your desk, scratched into the plaster, there is a line. A line you have read 100 times without stopping to read it. Admirer, o Pares, te non cessitis ruinis, qui tot scriptorum tadia sustine as. I am amazed, O wall, that you have not fallen to ruin. You who hold up so many writers. You read it once more. Then you open the next tablet and keep going. Level 7. The last record. Your right hand is cramping. You have been writing for 13 hours with one pause to eat a heel of bread you did not taste. The oil in the first lamp is gone. You are working by one flame now, and the flame leans constantly in air that should not be moving. You know what is happening outside. You have known for hours. The sounds have changed twice in the last hour. First the crowd noises faded. Fewer voices. Then almost none. Pompeii is becoming a city that has already left itself. Then something new. A deeper vibration in the air itself. Not in the ground. As if the sky has gained weight and is pressing down on everything beneath it. The tax records are finished. You press the merchant's mark into the corner and slide the tablet into its case. You open one final tablet. No commission, no client, no payment coming. You begin to write what you have seen. The column in the sky. The color at its base. The woman in the street. The man with the portrait running. The dog whose leash went slack. The child who pointed. The prayers that tangled together. The sound ash makes on roof tiles at 4 different weights. What it smells like when a mountain opens. What a city sounds like when it empties of its people. You write it in the clear, precise hand of a man who has spent his life making things legible. Your hand is steady. Someone has to be the one who writes it down. Level 8. The heat. The door of the room opens without you touching it. Not pushed open. The pressure on the other side of it changes and the door swings inward fast. The flame of your lamp dies in the same instant. The darkness that comes is total. Not the darkness of a room at night. The darkness inside a closed fist. Then the heat arrives. It does not come from the doorway. From everywhere at once. From the floor through your sandals. From the walls through the air. From the ceiling pressing down. It is not the heat of fire or sun or fever. It is heat that has been underground since before the first city was a name. And it has been waiting. Your lungs take one breath. The breath is wrong, too thick, too hot. The air is rearranging itself into something that air is not supposed to be. There is a high sound you cannot locate. Inside your ears, inside your head. Then there is no sound. The stylus is still in your hand. You can feel the metal warming fast against your palm. You do not let go. Level 9. The shape. The heat lasted less than 2 minutes. Everything in those 2 minutes is done. The city has gone quiet in a way that cities do not go quiet. Not the quiet of sleep or of an empty afternoon. The quiet of something completed. The column above Vesuvius has collapsed and rebuilt 3 times. The harbor is thick with pumice and boats carrying too much. And boats that are no longer carrying anything. The ash is still falling, though there is nothing below it to notice. 1800 years from now, men with iron shovels will break through the hardened ash on a street in Pompeii. They will find a room. In the room, a hollow in the shape of a person at a desk. They will pour liquid plaster into the hollow and wait for it to set and pull it free. The shape they pull out will be of someone who did not leave. The face is turned slightly toward the window. One arm is extended. The hand is closed around something that burned away long since. A small object, the diameter of a thumb, that left its ghost in the plaster. The tax records will not survive. The wax melted in the first seconds. The final tablet, the one with no client, no commission, no payment. Every word on it, gone. What survives is the hole your body left in the ash. The exact volume of you, preserved in the thing that ended you. The angle of your arm, the curve of your fingers, the place where the stylus was. Someone finds it. Someone looks at the shape of what you were, and they know. You were here, you were working, you did not stop. This is what it means to account for a life. You lived this once. And now, you are history.